I wanna share something with you. This is how you do Thunderwave. All right, you see that, right? Now this is out of a player's handbook. See that cube? You're wanting to cast a cube. See that point of origin? Where that point of origin's on the side? That square needs to be on one of your sides. So it can be here. It can be here. Well, 15 would be, yeah, there, or it can be here, or it can be opposite of, well, on top of you. So that's basically all of it. Yeah, you can't kind of place it on sides and stuff like that. It just doesn't work like that in 5e. Because it's all about that point of origin. The point of origin is it. So I mean, you're going to affect people, which is, I mean, not a problem. I mean, I'm cool with that. So it would be basically right there. So what is? Let me check out. That looks. That looks.
Degrees.
That actually.
Shoot it out your corner.
No, you can't. See on that point of origin, it has to be on the side of the square.
Okay.
So let's look at Thunderwave. I think that looks pretty big for 15-foot cube.
15-foot.
Yeah, that's a little bit too big for Thunderwave.
I'm still learning.
That's okay. That's okay. It should be 3 squares basically. This is how big Thunderwave would be.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right. I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
Oh, that was fast, Matt. Welcome back.
Yeah, that was fast.
So basically that would work.
I don't know why it says
And
5
his daughter's
feet.
like terrified. He's going like hundreds of miles an hour, you know.
So this would work.
Yeah, on any side of you. Yeah, correct. On any side of you, because that, like I shared that image. That's just how. That's how anything with a square or a cube works. You have to have it on one of your 4 sides: top, bottom, right, or left. That's just how the point of origin is.
Okay.
Now, if it was castable, if it wasn't focused on you, and if it had a casting point, then the point would be in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And then it would go to that 15 feet on each side of the point and stuff.
So you want me to re-roll that?
No, that's fine. Which one were you wanting to hit?
8 and 2.
Okay, so 8 and 2 both failed. So you can go ahead and you can roll your damage. So very nice damage. So the vulture number 8 is damaged pretty hard, and vulture number 2
pushed away
is dead.
10 feet.
Yep, that is very true. So vulture number 2 is dead, and vulture number 8
pretty much almost knocked everybody's eardrums out with a thunderous boom, audible out to 300 feet.
Alright, so now if you were in that blast radius, then I would have made you do the rolls on potions and stuff, so which would probably have been a DC 10 or something like that. Alright, Krusk, what say you? The map is starting to clear up a little bit.
Well, I'm going to attack that vulture number 3.
Okay. That's a hit, and vulture number 3 goes down.
Slash it up.
You do. Vulture number 3 does go down incapacitated. Alright.
But there, Crust.
I said, and another one bites the dust of those vultures.
Okay. Anything else for you, Krusk?
As I turn towards that last vulture and say, fly away before I get your old ass also underneath you.
All right, so Rathgar, you're up. Welcome back too, man. You got back, and we didn't even go through a full turn. There's so much stuff in this combat.
Oh yeah, she works like right in front where I live, so it's quick and easy. Alright, I'll do what I said before. I'm just gonna attack the what was it, Navon, whatever.
Okay. Sorry for the ice chewing, guys. All right, that is
taking a 2 miss.
Yeah, yep. Even without that -5, it definitely would have missed. All right, Rathgar. Going to the cultists now. Yeah, the one of the they're going to keep attacking you, man. I mean, you basically betrayed them and killed Amarath. So first is a miss. Second.
Hold on, just a moment.
All right, that's a crit.
Dave, when you let me know when you get the cultists 4 or 5 on their attacks.
Sure, I will do. All right, so we've got a crit hit. So Rathgar, good, nice little roll. So you resisted that. Let's go to cultist number 4. You want to impede him with your defensive reaction?
Well, he's attacking Rathgar, right?
Yeah, I think Rathgar has to be within 5 feet of you, doesn't he?
Well, I actually wish to use my feat. I would took at 4th level, being a sentinel, which means if he attacks someone other than me, then I get to use my reaction to make an attack against him.
Very nice. I like that. As a reaction, right?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and attack away. I'll let you attack first. Sorry for cracking that ice, guys. That's a hit. Nice use of the Sentinel feat. I like it. Wow, nice damage as he unleashes the attack on Rathgar and misses. All right, cultist number 5 attacks Rathgar. Wow, another crit. That's 2 hits out of 3. I like it. All right, so let's roll a little bit of damage.
I only did good during the first round.
Whoops, and I need to add in another 5 damage, so I'll divide that and add 2 more onto you for a total of 34 damage taken. All right, so now Cultist 6 is up. I accidentally hit the wrong button. So we'll attack you again, Rathgar. Wow, hitting you again. Rathgar's taking a beating. Wow, max damage. I'm
trying to help out.
Okay, so you also get bludgeoned 2 more times from something that you can't even see, Rathgar. First one hits you, and oh wow, max damage. It's those thundering shots that you've been taking, and you can't even see this. This individual in front of you, and the second one is a hit also. Okay, and you partially resisted that one. Wow, you're starting to stagger around a little bit now. You're almost at a point to where you're going to go unconscious. So let's go to Rigby. You're up. Now you're the one that has the wounds all over you, Rathgar. You basically have taken like 20 slashes. I mean, you are just covered with scimitar slashes and bruises from taking this bludgeoning from this creature that that you just can't even see now.
I have to get out of there.
All right, so Rigby, what say you?
I see that Vivian just blasted this bird, and I see it in a bad state. So I quickly move in to try to finish it off with my short sword.
Damsel in distress, I like it. Nice hit. Wow, clutch.
And this will be no sneak attacks, this will just be regular.
No spoilers, please, guys. No spoilers in the chat. Thank you very much.
As it's still staggering from Vivian's blast, I rush in and thrust my short sword through its belly.
Okay, and you do that same very thing. The vulture goes down.
And I yell to Krusk, "Krusk, get that one. You can do it. I know you can." as I give Rusk advantage. And I'm going to move right here in case this, to try to help out Vivian in case this vulture comes for her next.
That's a spoiler. You know it is, Corvette. Come on.
And that's my turn.
You know it is. You know what's supposed to happen. Sounds like you've read it. All right. So Envon takes her staff, and this staff starts to glow a very dark, like a darkish gray. A lot of wind starts to swirl around it, and she basically does what Gandalf had done on the bridge of Khazad-dûm. And she lifts up this staff, and it looks like she's fixing to slam the staff down onto the ground. And then all of a sudden, you hear a very loud and thunderous, "That is enough!" And everyone just absolutely freezes. No saving throws, nothing. Everybody is just frozen in place. And as this happens, you start to see, you can still kind of move your eyes, and you can see Zephyroth's. He is starting to float down the center chamber of the castle, and he appears. And yes, he appears basically right here, and he is floating over everyone.
Right above me.
Yes, so you're
You can look up his room.
smelling his feet. So he says, "That is enough!" And everyone just freezes. You're trying to move, and you can't move your mouth, you can't speak, you can't do anything. But you can look up and see him coming down. And he says, "There will be none of this within my home." And all of a sudden, all of you can start to move. Nyx, you can move. Vivian, you can start to move.
And she's
Krusk,
immediately started crying.
Frantisk, Draven, and Rigby, all 6 of you can move. And the cultists, including Rathgar, are still frozen. And Zephyroth, he says, he kind of lands on the ground, and he kicks one of these giant vultures out of the way, and it flies out one of the open windows that's in the castle. He says, "I do not appreciate guests coming into my home and attacking my guest. I have consulted with the other planes, and I was so rudely interrupted." And you haven't heard this tone in Zephyros. You have not heard this tone at all. Usually he's very, he's very soft-spoken and kind of, sort of like a pea brain.
When he contacts the other plane, sometimes he goes a little mad.
Yeah, but no, he's mad, all right. But he looks right towards Envon, and he says, "You would clean up your mess, take your dead, and leave my home. I was going to let you stay and be my guest as well. But now that you have attacked my guest, you are no longer welcome in my home. So, you may take your lives as a present from me to give back to your god Yansi Bin. And if your god Yansi Bin has any kind of qualms over what I have just told you, then you may have your god come to me, and I will talk to him. Now leave." And then all of you guys, now the other cultists, they can start to lead. They can start to, move. Also, Wrath, you can start to move as well. So this is all of you leave my guest, and he starts to float all of you guys up to the second, and he just kind of waves his hand like a Jedi mind trick, and all of you guys are starting to float up to the second level of the castle. So
While I was doing that, I'm saying to Zephyr, that guy in the middle of all those cultists, he was taken no longer off Navon.
He does not look like him. Where did he came from? Where did he come from? He does not look like the others.
He was with them. He was back with them.
He turns right towards you, and he asks you. I mean, point blank. He says, "Are you part of this group?" And he's looking at you, Rathgar.
So I'm able to move and speak.
Yes, yeah, you're able to move and speak now. Yeah, your muscles just kind of untense and unfreeze, and now you can talk. Of course, you're in bad shape, and you've got cuts and bruises and slices all over you. You know, it looks like you're bleeding out. You've got blood gushing down, dripping off of your hands. And yeah, he says, "Are you part of this group?"
Technically, no. I was part of the Order of the Gauntlet, and they asked me to infiltrate them and find out what their plans are and what they were doing. And it was just so... I got to the point to where I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to do something about it because they're not very nice.
As I can see. Then, if you wish to be my guest, you can stay in my home as well. Get cleaned up. You look like hell. And
I
then...
appreciate it. I kind of need a little bath or something.
Well, there's nothing that you can do here to take a bath unless I throw you into a river, which I might do, because I am not in the best of moods right now. But all of you, tell your Yonsei Bin that your Yonsei Bin is not welcome here anymore. I've seen visions, and I do not like what Yonsei Bin has planned for the future. You may leave now with your lives. And, you know, all of a sudden they just, like, kind of disappear. And then he says, I sense one more here. And then...
birds to get them all.
There's a couple left.
Yeah, they only got 3 birds left.
Yeah, they'll be stacking on like 2 or 3 at a time. Yeah, and then as he starts to...
The wing wear, they can glide.
You're starting to float up.
Those cool helmets on.
You're starting to float up. He floats up. He's starting to float up behind, under you, and then he says, "I sense one more here." And then he claps his hands, and when he claps his hand, you can feel a burst of wind, come up from him clapping his hands, and down below, you can see a vision that's kind of in a like a magical outline, a silhouette of a figure, and you can see that this figure was basically standing right beside of you, Rathgar, and this is now for you. You shall be gone. And he does this with his finger, sort of like a flick, and then all of a sudden you see this figure just fly out the front of the door, and just it looks like he was just punted by the giant, and Zephyroth just did a finger flick, and this silhouette just flies off of the castle, and you can see the arms and the legs are flailing on this. Yeah. So you guys are now out of combat, all right? And all of these cultists are, out of the chamber of the castle. So what say you?
So I come striding out from behind the statue, and I've got my priestly robes, my nice red robes with the gold trim, perfect. They look like they've just been pressed, kind of buffing a little scratch on my shield, and I'm like, "Oh, that was interesting, wasn't it, guys? Oh, you do look like crap."
I thought you had gone off somewhere there, Francis.
Oh no, I was fine. Hi, Nick. Ooh, that looks like it hurts.
I'm unarmed.
Sitting on the floor crying, saying, "I didn't want to," with Brillix just looking at her.
Yes, I
can't move around.
I walk over to sit somewhere and say, "Just what a flesh wound," as I'm coughing up blood and staggering, and sit down somewhere.
So yeah, everybody can move around now. Everybody can.
So I'll whip out my medicine kit and start patching people up who are wounded.
Drag Vivian's. Well, it looks like a corpse to me, but I drag it out under this thing.
So Zephyroth's, he goes back over to his chair and he sits down. And Zephyros, he asks, he goes, how did all of this start? I was up in my chambers consulting with the outer planes, and then all of a sudden I am awoken to fighting. Is that all you little ones do, is fight with one another? You are just like the giants. You're just like the fire giants. And now I see why some giants do not like the little ones. I myself...
Vivian cries out even louder. I didn't want to.
What is wrong with her?
I don't know, Vivian. No.
I'll start to
Vivian,
clean.
I'm sorry,
I'll start
Lord.
cleaning off my sword. I'd start cleaning off my blade and then putting it away. Unfortunately, sir, the fight was brought to us. We did not initiate that fight, but I just wanted to make sure that we were okay. We did not start that fight.
And who did start the fight? They did? As he kind of looks over towards you.
One of the cultists did, Zephyros. One of the cultists did. Now,
I actually raised my hand and say, I did.
I was trying to help you out there, whatever your name is. Anyway, it is a problem with us little folk, Zephyros. The biggest problem is that those who wish war, they're not so easily discernible as the fire giants are, and for the large folk.
Then they should just take arms up with the fire giants and fight them, and then they can just kill one another off.
Well, but we cannot tell just by looking if a man wants to fight or has lust of war in his blood, and so this leads to intrigue and difficult situations as we have here. And I kind of motioned all the blood and gore on the floor. And
that needs to be cleaned up.
It is a curse of our small stature, I'm sure.
It is disappointing to invite people into your home. I'm not saying that you're the ones that started it. But it seems like he's starting to calm down. But it's just a little frustrating because I was disturbed and I was contacting the other planes, and all of a sudden my mental bind with the planes was broken because of this. It was truly unfortunate. It was not I guess you could say the fury was not intended or directed towards you. It was directed towards the other little folk, and I apologize about that. And you can tell that he's starting to calm down.
So you say you peeked behind the veil once again. Did you see anything of interest?
I shall talk to you later about that.
All right. Yeah. We all need a little break here, I feel. That was very we exerted ourselves over much. And I look at Matthew. I look at Rathgar as he's like a pool of blood forms below.
Yeah, he looks over towards you, Rathgar, and he says, "Are you a friend of the others? And why were you traveling with these Yansi Bin followers, these howling hatred? Why were you traveling with them? And are you friends of
Order of the Gauntlet?
My guest
they had sent me to infiltrate the cult here, and I was just tired of their lies, and I just had to put a stop to it.
Are you a spy? Then you are a little one that is a spy? You're a mischievous one?
I wouldn't say mischievous as in to you. I would say to the cult, yes, but not to you or these fine people in this room.
And you are the one that started all of this. What did you do to start all of this?
I just gave one of them a friendly little reminder that they're not good people.
Is that from one of the blood markings on the floor?
Yeah, that one that was a big clump of looked like clay and blood and guts, whatever on the floor. That was him.
Well, where do you have to go, little one? Do you need to be taken anywhere, or are you friends of my guest here? What is your name, little one?
My name is Rathgar the Annihilator.
Whoa, you sound like you love war, Rathgar the Annihilator.
I do, as you can see.
Am I going to have any other problems with you if you
No,
decide to
nope.
stay
I
in
think
my
I
home
can
and be a
handle
guest?
Only to defend your home, sir.
And if needed, I can handle him.
Whoa. Looking at his hit
Crust is over
points.
there
yeah.
swelling up over there.
Over there.
I don't know,
Rathgar, Is that
Crust.
what you said your name was, sir? Rathgar, I believe?
Yes.
It seems like you're infiltrating these people. I heard the Order of the Gauntlet or something mentioned.
Yes, sir.
The Draven, isn't that the cult that you run around with?
Cult.
They're not
Do not-
cults. Don't
Cult.
Do
call them
not,
that.
do
Oh.
not call my
Well,
the
whatever.
order
This
that I wish to be a part of a
association
cult.
like-minded individuals, if you will.
It's not technically a religious order, Nick. Yes, I think it's the same. Pay him no mind, Raven. Pay him no mind.
Same.
Regardless, it seems like you said you were in some sort of undercover mission to infiltrate them or something, right?
Yes.
Do you know anything about this whole bringing the world back to the primordial order and so on and so forth?
I only got bits and pieces of it.
I don't even think they knew what they were talking about, to be honest with you.
It's just a bunch of rubbish. They were just talking out of their ass. I hate it every time they talk. So.
He's a feisty little one, isn't he?
Well, how about your order, this Order of the Gauntlet? Will they be happy with this turn of events? I mean, this is not the outcome they wished for, I assume.
I'm gonna assume we're about to find out sometime soon when we get off this little castle.
Well, we're headed towards the frozen tundras of the north, the Icewind Dale lands. I don't
To
know if
see
you want
the
to ride
Aurora
that far.
Borealis.
Interesting,
The
because that
Northern
seems
Lights.
to be where I'm heading to.
Jolly good.
What a coincidence!
Yeah, you mind if I
Aurora
tag along?
Borealis again. All right, Francis. This is not a sightseeing tour.
Well, yes, we have a message to deliver, but that shouldn't take very long.
We'll take
I'll
in the
have
sights.
plenty
I
of
see
time
how-
to
Okay.
to bask in the glory of the lights up there.
Then it
Speaking of which,
seems
Quite fun.
as
We're
it
probably
is
gonna need some
settled.
coats and things as well, Francis.
It seems that this Rathgar the Annihilator. May I just call you Rathgar? Let's drop the Annihilator while you're here in my. I do not like bloodshed. This place needs to be cleaned up. And he claps his hands a couple times, and then everything looks just immaculate again. No corpses,
Fine.
no blood.
Sparklies everywhere.
Yeah, everything is nice and clean. So you can tell that good old Zephyros has quite a bit of magical power, especially if he's able to make everybody just freeze in their place. That's pretty impressive. So he looks at you, Rathgar, and he says, then you may join my guest here, my very special guest, and you may travel to the land of the Ten Towns with us as we travel to Bryn Shander. And we will stop on the way so you can pick up. I do not have any clothes. I guess I do have clothes, but they would not fit you. But then again, I really don't get cold. So we will continue our travel. We still have 23 days of travel until we reach our destination. So I am feeling very weak. I am feeling like I have just mentally exhausted myself while contacting the outer planes. So, my friends, I will speak to you when the sun rises. And then as he's kind of floating back up to the second level of his tower and he's going through the hole, he kind of stops, lowers himself back down a little bit, and he says, "Please, stay out of trouble while I sleep." And then he disappears onto the second level of the tower.
That makes Vivian cry even more into Nyx's shoulders, so his chest is even more glistening than it was in the fight.
Vivian, you do realize you probably woke him up with that damn obnoxious spell of yours, right?
And then cries even harder.
I'm sorry. Turn into a bunny rabbit or something.
So that little magical bag of pixie dust starts to float up, and you can also hear Zephyroth says, "I do not wish to have any gifts from this Yansi bin. You may have this." And it's just kind of floating about 3 or 4 feet off of the floor. He said, "If you do not wish to have it, I will throw it off of my tower."
Yeah, we'll take a look at it, Master.
I'll grab it and hand it to Nix. What do you make of this stuff?
I could probably make a sandcastle out of it, probably. I don't know.
a sandcastle.
Oh, what do I make of it? Oh,
A dust castle. Dust castle. Dust, not
Let
sand.
me study on it a little bit, okay.
It doesn't make you
Like an
grow
Arcana
wings.
check or something, Dave?
Doesn't make you grow wings and turn you into wearing a tutu, does it?
What was it called? Fairy dust, I believe is the name. Bantered about.
Pixie.
Pixie dust, yes.
Oh, even more effeminate. All right, let's see here.
It's just a plain, pouch of dust. But
Wow.
I'm not going to make you do a roll. No, you have the rest of the night. You have the rest of the night, and basically, what you're able you've read about this in books before, Nix, and you know that a pinch of this dust basically can substitute for any kind of materials components of any enchantment spell of 3rd level or lower, and if a pinch of pixie dust is sprinkled on a creature, you can roll percentile dice and consult the pixie dust table. So you can use it as basically like a component pouch, or you can sprinkle a pinch on a creature and roll the percentile. So you can do that.
As I'm playing and looking at it, Dave, I get some on the back of my hand, and it's like glittering. I look over the Rigby. Rigby, remember the girls in Daggerford? I remember seeing some of the dancing girls apparently decorated with this sort of thing.
Yes, now that you mention it.
Right. We could never get that stuff off of us.
So you do remember that there are several different effects that this dust could actually have on someone that the pixie dust is sprinkled on. Basically, one of the effects is it will grant the creature a flying speed. One of this could actually make the creature fall unconscious. You know that one of the effects could be one of confusion, and you know that one of these effects could be one of turning someone invisible.
Okay, after I've studied it to that extent, Dave, I relate that information only to Rigby. Rigby, this sort of stuff is right up your alley, man. Yeah, you can use this to get up to all sorts of mischief.
Yes, this stuff could be very well
invisible. Make some unknowing woman fall asleep while you do your thing with the
Oh God.
Should we test it on Krusk?
Well,
just kidding.
Well, I'd rather test it on Vivian, but I don't want to upset her.
Nix, what are you up to again?
No, we're just examining the pixie dust, my good man. Don't
You
disturb us.
still have to eat your hat, and I would suggest you do it now.
It is dinner time.
Oh my God.
Now that you guys are probably gonna take a long rest and all of that good jazz, you guys can go ahead and deduct another day's worth of rations off of your character sheet. And looks like Nix is going to be eating his hat.
All right, I'll substitute my rations for my hat.
All right.
I have no ration. But yeah, what about this pixie dust? I feel like Rigby would be the best person to have this, but so everybody needs to kind of wait.
Yeah.
So I'm,
What do you guys
As I
think?
hand it to him.
Nick,
sorry,
when are you
Dad,
gonna button your shirt?
Before I eat, Dave, I'm
Well, Vivian's crying on his chest right now, so it's a little hard to button.
Let it all out, dear. Let it all out. Papa Nick.
before I'm eating, taking that jug out of my backpack.
Oh, okay.
Making a gallon of
You're
mayonnaise.
gonna have a mayonnaise sandwich right there, right, Chris?
Love it.
Looks delicious.
Oh, he's making mayo to go with your hat.
No.
Nice, Rick.
Yeah, I tried to make mayonnaise, but it's honey I made.
Whoa.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you make some. How much honey can you make, Krusk?
1 gallon of honey.
God, that's a lot of honey.
It's a lot of damn honey.
So I start just pouring out the honey over his head.
Oh, nice.
Here, now it's a little bit more taste on it.
I'm gonna take a bite, Dave, but I'm just gonna bite down enough to remove a honey layer off of it and mime like I'm eating Krusk. He will never. Krusk, you really should have some. This is the most delicious hat I've ever eaten. You're missing out, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right, so next you start to eat your hat. Everybody has a delightful meal. You guys have a long rest. So I've got everybody taken care of in the combat tracker. And you guys are going to travel about I'd say about another 7 days or so. Now, here we go. I'm sharing the map of the Sword Coast for you. It looks like it's shared perfectly for everybody. And you guys have traveled, what, total of 10 days now? I would say that we have traveled just enough to where you guys are going to reach Phandalin. Alright? Now, of course, you know, these 10 days go by, you reach Phandalin, which is a very small town out in, you know, the hills. You stop. Zephyros, you know, he creates his stairwell of cloud stairs down so you can, you know, basically go into the town of Phandalin. So we're going to stop here today, and where we. No, he's not leaving. He tells you that he
Keep the car running.
the mission is still to make it to the area of the 10 towns, the Icewind Dale region, and he tells you that you have the night to spend here in Phandalin to get cleaned up, and he looks over at you, Rathgar. He says you may need to seek some type of medical attention, even though, you know, by then your wounds have kind of healed up a little bit. Everybody.
Find some dancing girls to coach in our pixie
Yeah.
history.
Ooh, very nice.
Vivian turned to Rigby.
I'm with you.
If they have one, would you show me this bathhouse that you told me you'd showed me?
I don't know. Does Phandalin have a bathhouse?
You know that Phandalin does have a bathhouse for sure.
Absolutely. I'll take you on a tour.
Knows all the ins and outs of it, I'm sure.
So you guys will start the game next week in Phandalin, where you guys can do your carousing, whatever you want to, 4 nights. And thank you guys for playing. It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Dave.
Yeah, welcome to the game, Matt.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
welcome.
Good to have you, man.
Yep.
I hope you guys had a good time. Massive combat today. So I mean, that was what, probably about 30 items in a round. That was pretty crazy.
Something like
So,
that.
yeah. All right, guys and gals, thanks for playing. And is everybody good to go for next week, next Sunday?
I
will have game.
Yes, it's got it.
Okay. No problem. No problem. You can basically be passed out on the castle for next week or something. Maybe with maybe with
bellyache from eating the other half of mine.
or maybe he's having some kind of like honey or mayonnaise poison, so he's in a honey coma or something. So
He left the mayo out too long and it spoiled a little bit. That's the problem.
that's good. Well, enjoy your game next week, Krusk, but I'll see you in Discord before then anyway. So thanks everybody for playing. I'll see you guys next week. Yep. See you guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Guys. See ya.
You did.